The more session, is very close to me as we have worked together. And when he was my teaching launch, so that was it. Was really interesting rewarding experience that we had. So I'm so happy to see that more the teaching. All the panelists, most of them we know, are also participants, particularly the students. This presentation on economic challenge and opportunities should be just a bit fun. I thought there will be many more interventions by the panelists and also from the group. Is a mind-boggling story. Yes, you can do it. And it's unfolding. I will be touching on some certain features of the story, so probably we need to go much deeper that but as an academic and also as a practitioner, I believe you need to consider all the story which is so fascinating. We don't have any story here, so that the biology story could really be let me try. Whenever you talk about biology, it's a story about from action to society. We started so honestly after the War of Liberation in 1971. Some people say we only started with 93 US dollars per capita. One what I is about $99. Almost say, and the biology economy was only 6.3 billion in 1970, and you can see the span of how we went up to 465 plus over the last 50 years. So it's really a fascinating story indeed. And what is more interesting that this time, nothing else when other nations started scaling the development of the country. Usually was nothing in the basket. Actually, there was not even a dollar reserve around that time. So, but because of this charismatic leadership, the fighting spirit, that is moving to the finance psyche of the nation, is very rich. Almost more than 200 laws were enacted by Bongo in just 2.5 years. The provincial government was transformed into a central government. The institutions were all good. There was no central bank, there was no commissions, there was no banks. We had to do all that in a scratches. And years time, the Bangladesh moved so far. There was 63% in the per capita income from $99 to nearly $60,000 around that time. And if the moment he was under the sea, next year, 34 On 77, it was 128 dollars. That is to 30 years to come to 11 million. So that's the story that Lynch has. Then we Bangladesh really had a very large pace, and there was a huge fall in the not only in income in many areas of Bangladesh, but after 2000. Like in between 1996, it started moving again, and then it got stuck. And after 2009, the Bangladesh is moving shows stretch fast. You can see the slide. From $699, how it really cost over $2,700, and that is now $2,800 plus. So Bangladesh has been moving pretty fast. I know it's a time, so I'll be touching some of the points. It's amazing transformation reflected in many of the economic achievements. And you can see the 5-year average growth rate accelerated from 4.15% in 1995 to 7.13% in 2016 to 2020 last 5-6 years. This is that now. What is the most strategic point is that if the economy moves into the manufacturing sector, that means you are really more organized. And in Bangladesh, this agrarian, totally agrarian economy, gradually transforming to manufacturing in a country. It goes from 22% to 37% within a decade. That time period of the last decade. So the sales production increased from 49 million tons to 62 million tons between the 2008 and 2021. In fact, it was only 50 million tons in 1972. So huge fight. You can see that. Economic growth and the production, all that, they got us also various more when I did my PhD work in the late early 70s, I didn't find any factor in my inputs in the way that I studied. Now I go back and I didn't find one of them. So that's a transformation that has taken place. And the end result is city actually poverty. The poverty has really declined from 1.5% to 18.7% between 2010 and 2020. So that reflects our conditions. Not only the economic needs, but the social needs are even impressive. Social development has been really impressive. Expected lifespan increased from 65 years in 2005 to 73 years today. That's a huge one of the highest in South Asia. Even our neighbors, they're actually also more than Bangladesh. It's a more reduced from 51 to 20 euro per thousand life births between 2005 and 2023. Another model came down from 376 to 123 per 100,000 people. So this is money. This figure is even almost double the figure of the developing countries. So Bangladesh is doing that well. What is the sources of this inspiration of the growth? We don't have to manufacturing is the most important sector that has been going in the economy, and this is led by R&D, but other exporting industries are also growing. But that doesn't mean that the domestic industry, equally more substitute industries are not working. They are not equally important. Certainly, 50% of our growth really comes from consumption, and it's domestic. Import substitution industries are also playing a critical role. many times we talk about exports, but we forget about the domestic economy, which is expanding not only the large industry, and millions of small and medium enterprises that are contributing to this area of growth. The remittances has been one of the biggest sources of growth. Remittance are the revenue source of Bangladesh. The other ones were finding and which is key economic balance. Small hands, those who we have strategies over the period of 2009 to 2023, huge amount of foreign energy brought from the region. Taking further steps has been our mainstay, ensuring food security even in the middle of crisis as well as creating scope for eco exports. In fact, agriculture has helped us through the COVID crisis. That we even stay Bangladesh is the work. Another, factor that is something that still is also involved in the inclusive finance, the use of digital technology to reach the form of social pyramid. There was a time the resources, the organization, but now, even the rich have learned that banking honestly, the bigger to be on their mobile. So that was a revolution that Bangladesh has watched in terms of digital finance, and Bangladesh really has the privilege of scale this period 2009 and period. The women empowerment and another factor which is getting forward. Even Liverpool's participation rate increased from 30 to 38% in 2009 and 2022. The latest figure is even 41% in Liverpool. Thus, they have almost 40%, some of the highest in South Asia, even higher than India and other the region. Women aren't really that success. 100% population now living in this. That's another big thing that happens. University is the source of civilization. Without university, you cannot be civilized. Has been pushed they have reached almost every household in the latest city, all kinds of economic activities, and also, can you any blocks on the okay. So what made this progress? This is not my issue. How the foreigners and outsiders look at different platforms, jamming on development. What is this? Progress not all the development and design. In this case, it is almost coincidentally politics and economics not being the wrong thing. It seems to have worked in Bangladesh and to serve as an example to others. We have done many things. For the last 15 years or so, the political steadily has been studying in Bangladesh. People know that they can close their factories, they can work, nobody can stop them. So again, economics has been also inclusive and a lot of things in agriculture and other inclusive areas. So even both economic and politics have been really helping Bangladesh to move forward. And of course, that doesn't mean there are challenges. There are challenges in terms of political problems and also economic instabilities. But again, all the Bangladesh is moving forward. The facing the challenges Bangladesh after a decade of exchange rate and external accounts, 70 now there is a positive current economic deficit and there are macroeconomic challenges. I'm sure today's moderators will elaborate on that further. Commodity and energy prices hike first, translated into supply chain disruption, and then due to geopolitical unrest globally, that really put the pressure on Bangladesh. But again, timely stimulus during the pandemic contributed towards acceleration of the aggregate demand, and also time and cost overrun in the infrastructure project, and coupled with overvalued exchange rate of Bangladesh, Dhaka may have been creating some pressure on the macroeconomic stability. So, but we have been trying to take measures to address the economic deficit. But again, I thought we could have been faster. We could have been even better in that area. I'm really, as I said, for the dynamic concept, looking on all the families that our families will build them up. So, macroeconomic stability is must. If we really want to take Bangladesh forward, macroeconomic stability. In fact, macroeconomic stability was the greatest strength of Bangladesh. So that we need to continue to have it. And for that matter, right at the moment, we need appropriate fiscal policy measures. In fact, the unproductive activities must be eliminated or substantially started. What it would have happen if we stop import that car over the last next 6 months or so? Nepal period, and Kenya's macroeconomic stability is improving. In fact, it's very improving. So why do we have to be physically with the import of luxury items when we have a difficult time like this? Prudent monetary policy, we also are much more upfront on the monetary policy. Even Sri Lanka is better than us, in terms of raising the policy rate and also, adjusting the exchange rate. These are the two market-driven solutions: the interest rate and the exchange rate. This we must do if we really want to have the political, macroeconomic stability. The import management is also needed. This productive imports, but again, we need to have, small imports. This is also very important. Actually, easier remittance growth. We'll be having some discussions on the remittance. There are not problems with the remittance. We need to make life easier for the remittance so that they can easily do that. Again, implement the social protections so that we can really maintain social political stability and do something for the our basic, ordinary people policy equation, which is running almost in person. So, Bangladesh is also likely to face a challenge on the trade emissions challenge, and we are will be moving pretty fast to become the developing countries by 2026. So there will be a lot of challenges. The first challenge will be Bangladesh is likely to lose preferential market access, so which are likely to be most affected. So we must be prepared for that challenge. We will have to be more stringent in intellectual property rights, which children would affect pharmaceutical and software does. We need to put our eyes on that. There are many later international measures as well as high interest rate on loans to international development partners. When we graduate from the local LDCs to developing countries. And already we are having the pressure from the federal political policies and that also creating a lot of problems in low. So this whole challenge is all gradually in mind, actually. Is one of our biggest, I would say, strategies, the most important strategy that we must keep in mind. And we are the potential of green energy. We, the Central Bank, we started green finance, then we graduated into sustainable finance policy to really make our industry greener and also create, synergy with the small and medium enterprises, the green enterprises. Climate change adaptation must be prioritized, and Bangladesh is one of the most popular countries. Bangladesh is trying to, almost 7-8% of the budget is given for the climate finance, and we need to do more. Government must work together with other stakeholders to secure more international support on climate finance. World Bank, IMF, and all these countries are ready to provide climate finance, and we must exploit that in this situation. Another potential of green competition. Our Prime Minister said the other day in very excellent meeting that 8.1 million liters are is used for irrigation. And this could easily be substituted to be going to solar irrigation. And this is possible. We have seen this. The power sector analysis of the British Climate Prosperity Plan project over 1/3 of Bangladesh energy demand could be made from renewable energy by 2030. But we are not making enough progress. Only 2% of our energy really comes from renewable sources, so we could do more there as well. The further energy infrastructure is advanced. There are advantages and disadvantages of investing in infrastructure. Infrastructures are really the main source of growth that we are looking at. But again, we need to be very careful that how do you privatize. I thought privatization of infrastructure is related to transport is more significant than any other infrastructure, but not rich. The metro rails or the elevated expressways. These are really attracting investment and also making decision of operation viable. In Delhi, the metro rail alone provided about 8% of the daily GDP growth. So I thought these are the areas where we are probably we need to put our infrastructure to be enhanced multimodal connectivity. Even today, 28 days to export. It takes about 28 days to export against 18 days in Asia, 34 days to import against 20 days in Asia. Export import costs will also be reduced if proper infrastructure is developed. And private participation in infrastructure is also very crucial. Only 1% of our GDP comes from private participation of the infrastructure. It's going to do far better. Need to sustainably overcome the challenges for realizing the potential. The export-led growth of Bangladesh is likely to sustain further. Our export GDP ratio is low, less than 30%. Middle income Bangladesh cannot rely mostly on R&D exports currently, which is about 85%. We need diversification, and Bangladesh is moving in that direction. Energy regulatory environment can enhance cost competitiveness and enhanced use of technology can enhance productivity. 25% increase in technology use can give 3% increase in profits per worker. See that. Export and market diversification initiatives need to be taken, and special economic zones that we have really started. These are the game changers, and I hope this will make the game changing pretty soon if we can continue to support them. Again, looking ahead, I'm just giving you some future areas to look at. The future will be all about digitalization and commerce, and we have laid the background, we have laid the base. Now is the time to really take it forward. SME-related innovations will be key to macroeconomic success. The role of the private sector will be vital in inclusive growth, and linking higher education is the must. Our higher education is in a mess. We need to do more on that actually. And modernization and mechanization of agriculture is needed, and smart urbanization for sustainable progress. Bangladesh urbanization story is mixed. Dhaka is an ugly story. Dhaka urbanization is an ugly story. But Rajai is a great story. And a fantastic story. Best stories in the urbanization, smart urbanization is the Rajai. If you have gone there recently. Potential regional trade hub must be utilized in Bangladesh and further integrate with the local and regional national value change and fiscal reforms. Here also, our family should focus on the debt GDP ratio is one of the lowest. And we got to reach 15 to 20% if we really want to sustain our growth story. Realizing this potential requires some measures like strategic geographic placement as and again a vibrant youth workforce, our strength. This can continue to contribute to our macroeconomic growth. Proper utilization of the macroeconomic prospects are sure to expedite the process of Bangladesh becoming a high-income country. Our strong synergy between public and private sectors, accompanied by an enabling environment, ensured through improved transparency and accountability are critically important prerequisites. Here, the governance issues are clearly one should really focus on that. And I'm already at the last bit of it. Today we are standing here at a time, where we see a legacy of leadership. Bangabandhu back in 17th on the 25th of September said, upon the wisdom of our choice will depend whether we will move towards a world faced with aggravation of human suffering on a horrendous scale, or we can look forward to a world where human creativity and the great achievements of our age will be able to shape a better future. It clearly, talked about the use of science and technology on that day and was against nuclear kind of warfare and went for peace dividend. So following that, our current leadership, our Prime Minister says, though we talk about one world, one family, are we doing anything to show it? Over 800 million people, or 10% of the global population, go hungry. Sadly, these countries are reducing age for the poor. And she has given a 5-point formula how to restructure the global financial sector, including the HDRs in IMF. And again, these two leaderships, that is a great synergy, and I believe we can see. And we got to really now look both local and global to make the Bangladesh, which should be pride. Is moving on, is marching on. But again, as it is marching on, it also raises a lot of dust. So we need to be very careful about that the dust should not really overwhelm the race. So I think I'll stop there. Thank you very much for hearing me. Thank you so much.
Okay. Thank you, Professor Emeritus Dr. Rajiv Kumar, both governor and the there is a saying that the taste of the pudding is in the eating. So, Dr. Rajiv Kumar, when you left the central bank, the first time he left central bank with the new philosophy, development of central bank. And during this time, national economic, all the indicators were in excellent position. Our value of currency was excellent, reserve was fantastic, and inflation was around 5%. And not all the indicators, not 99%, but most cases. So that is, and after that, he also mentioned in his speech that it's not only the story of inspiration, growth, and all this stuff. At the same time, we have some challenges which he has really delineated. Now I request my direct professor, 40 years ago at Dhaka University, Professor Nurul Islam, and he's the former chief of UN Development Research Team, to deliver his valuable speech. Thank you.
Is a problem. এটা ঠিক করা যাবে না
আমি মাস্টারে আছি
হবে না এটা ওইটা নষ্ট এরপরে কাজ করতেছে
তাহলে এটা মাস্টারের কাছে ওইটা করতে মাস্টার লাগে ভিডিও করা সমস্যা পুরো শুরু করতে হবে কিছুই নাই
Thank you very much. Presenter, and all the distinguished panelists and distinguished gentlemen and ladies present. I'm going to be here, and I would like to thank Naeem and the committee for organizing this discussion. And this is a very pleasant thing for me to see the students who are from the same boarding school college in Bangladesh. And also has been one of my direct students while he was very promising there, and I'm very happy to see him. And actually, Dr. Asif Roman those my direct students, and actually they were so all these things makes me very happy to be here. But I don't know because that we have only 6 minutes to make our remarks, so it's very difficult to really get into a discussion with this for our but yes, my talk is made easier by Dr. Steele because he, in his presentation, covered almost all most of the issues that Bangladesh faces. So, both long-term, medium-term, short-term, so in this sense, he has covered a broad scope of issues that we discussed. However, what I would like to do is, first of all, I would like to propose a slightly different conceptualization or way of this the challenges that they mentioned. Of course, in most countries, it's that Bangladesh has made tremendous success in the past decades, and he has very covered the success stories very nicely. And also, of course, if we have time to go a little bit deeper, I would, one of my ex colleagues outside of university, they want to do work. He has written a very nice, he has actually where he has analyzed the policy that enabled Bangladesh to have success. So, and this purpose is to learn from experience what worked, what didn't work. So I think as we reiterate success, we may also try to take a look at the way in which most of the successes were achieved, and how these policies are formulated, what were the discussion debates that were on. So that may help us in terms of dealing with the challenges from that now. Now, not to cast any negative light on the success that we have achieved. What I would like to suggest is that this expression should not sit on the laurels of the past. So, rather we have to write down the inspired successes that we already achieved. Tackle the challenges. So, in terms of future challenges, I would like to suggest a different view is that we should not think of the coming years as business as usual model. So what I mean by that of course we have a process that led to success, and it's not that we should. It's better not to view that all is good, so all we need is just to continue that process. I think that will do. That will not be the right way. What I would instead suggest is that yes, we had a process, we have achieved a lot of successes following the process, but now the time has come when we should start a new phase. So the success that has achieved so far in the last decades, I would like to as the first phase of the. And now what we need is to move on to a new phase. So this difference may be a little subtle, but it has important advantage. Why do I say that? It's because the success that we have achieved, it's very natural that these successes have also led to some problems. So everything is, it has its different sides. So, and also there is some problem. And unless the government is problem, and also the challenge that I can provide. Unless the government is, then we will all be able to actually tackle them in the manner that is needed in future periods. So that's why using, thinking of it as a new phase is helpful because it will allow us to also look at the problems that are accumulated over time and to focus on them as well as the new challenges. So that's the difficult that we have to make. And to give an example, for example, as when conversation of the independent industry was more market, 6% in 1970. And now industry constitutes about 37%. So huge progress in the industrial development. But industrial development in its way also has brought industrial pollution. So a lot of, our water bodies, land, air, etc. are getting polluted. Precisely because we have become successful. So going forward, we cannot continue as it is. We have to kind of, take a new think anew about now that we have achieved success, how we can tackle these other problems that are there. This is a big problem. Similarly, we know that our infrastructure mentioned is from $98 it's now more than 1,000. So, so that the range is increased. So since we now have a much higher range in terms of income, so that has allowed the dispersion to be. So what happened is that also inequality will increase. So the very growth in income has in its way created the possibility for dispersion, inequality to increase, and it has increased. It's not a necessary outcome, but the possibility of this outcome arose precisely because the income level increased. So for example, we know that those of you who know a little bit of economics, concept of Gini ratio. So Gini ratio is from 0.38 in 1991 to 2.43. It is very high value. For example, in terms of Palmer ratio, it is from 1.68 in 1992 to 2.93 for the next year. So these are very high values of equality. So that means going forward, we also have to kind of think of making certain changes so that this does not, this trend does not persist. Because if it does, then we'll have a problem. Because there is a phenomenon called inequality trap. So if there is high inequality, then it takes country into it puts a country into a trap where reduction of inequality becomes difficult. Because inequality, economic inequality is political inequality. And then you have an establishment which cannot do anything to reduce inequality. So inequality person. It's kind of thing that we witness in the Latin American countries, where high inequality has led this country to inequality trap. And that is why they have also led into this median income trap. So as Bangladesh, we have reached the median income status. We do not want to enter into median income trap. And if you want to avoid median income trap, then that is also addressed inequality so that it does not lead us to this. So this is just an example that I gave to provide a basis of my basic position. But think of this, you pay the economic that isn't for the constitution of okay, because going forward task but sometimes long term, medium term, and certain other tasks short. But Satya has mentioned almost all of this. I can just give a catalog, just list a few of them. I think so first of all, I think going forward, we have to take note of the inequality and address inequality. If we want to continue growth and progress from in the future, because we have the aim of reaching the development economic sector by 2040. 2040 is not too far away.
So, if we do not make it to the reform, successful, then it will be difficult to do that. But there are examples of countries that say which could not, the rich community infrastructure could not be yeah. So in terms of this, so I actually there's 10 tasks of long and medium term. That's one is then improving the quality of governance. Then third is I would this is something that I have been talking about for many years now. I think our change of relations. So what we have now is first class report. This is not proving well for this is for stability. So instead we have to move to proportional. We want to think on the development. All the development is follow the proportional equation. So if you want to change development, you will also switch to proportional. That's my current position. Then also we have our local government structure. We have structure in villages are represented by just one member of the council. It is not sufficient. We have to have village level government extended, local level government extended village level, so that villages have a definition where they can discuss and take initiative how to move forward. But it is important for the view of the climate change, because a lot of changes that is the landscape, which cannot be done unless it is as a defined structure to organize and that's the point. The fifth is regional disparity. Again, this is one of the outcomes of the current growth that we are witnessing. It is also related to some regional disparity, in particular the overgrowth of capacity. There's some research that has shown that this overgrowth is now has been negative effect on the growth. So that's something. Then we need to number 6 called solidarity. For example, our education system, as we mentioned, it has become divided and it has become inefficient. And particularly, as you know, we are witnessing this what is called demographic dividend. The demographic dividend is large rise of young cohorts of young people. They are not fully utilized. And the education system is now having about 1/3 of the educated graduates being unemployed. And there's a big mismatch between the education and the kind of education that is needed. So that's another. Then number 7 is the environment. And then you have to, number 8 is you have to pay special attention to the needs of the women. And number 9 is we have to have about resources and number 10 is something I would I'm sure that number 4 is future tasks and I see even interested in so finally, to conclude, Dr. results introduce a short-term orders, extended government as a government is not just a product of the currency. It has been outcome of the process because the partner pays just the change. So that's another. So the managing, better managing the managed flow that we have in the market is very important. And again, the political economy is also because when you look at why you pay to adjust the exchange rate, it's partly because the way political work is input lobby, such as export lobby, we are continuing to provide cash bonus support to the fuel industry, which is now about 40 years old. We have to take a fresh thinking. Different industrial production argument does not apply to industry that is 40 years old and then it becomes second their work. So there are not things that we can discuss. So anyway, to conclude, I and others will work these topics that are facing so that there's recognition that yes, there are some problems too. So we need to address this problem and take on the new challenges that arise. And that regard, we want to hear from for the future, we have a nationwide discussion, we have a discussion to take on the task.
Thank you, Professor. This speech is reminiscent to something to me. The sport here is to teach us socialism. And then he used to talk about inequality. Inequality was not that high at that time, and now it is close to 50%. So that proves that despite having so many positions in his life, he did not deviate from the basic philosophy of commitment for the poor and commitment for income equity. Thank you, National English, Professor of the University of Colorado, today for our speech. And I request her to finish with 6 minutes or so. Also,
আমরা কাজ করতেছি হ্যাঁ হ্যাঁ হ্যাঁ
না না
I'd like to thank organizers and proceeding and also Professor Newman for inviting me to be part of the panel today. I've been asked to restrict my speech to 6 minutes, and nowadays, when we are teaching at the university, the students have very short attention span. So we have to prepare elevator speeches for most of us. I will do my best. So today, despite our immediate concerns with matters such as foreign exchange reserves and our foreign currency, the taka, I would like to address a few aspects of it that I think are fundamental to the health of the economy in the long run. Much has been said already by Professor Newman and Professor William as well, who I think are both class friends, and so they must be really sick with their notions. But I will speak a little bit in depth hopefully about international trade and industrial production. International trade, and then we'll talk about labor productivity, the two problems that we face in the long run. So one achievement that we have is that Bangladesh has now become a lower income country by banking standards since 2020. And it is on track to graduate from the UN's least developed country to a middle status in 2026. And it will get WTO minimum status in 2026 and expected to graduate to middle status by 2024. So I'm going to address a couple of things that are challenges when we attain this status. So one is that in 2001, in the Doha development round of the WTO, the member countries agreed that there would be quite a bit of tariff reduction, reducing tariff peaks, reducing high tariffs, reducing tariff escalation, etc. There are 46 least developed countries on the WTO's list who are exempt from making these commitments. So if they like, they can unilaterally raise tariffs. Bangladesh is amongst these countries. But once it graduates from its LDC status, it will not have this privilege. It will have to follow what we call closely related tariffs. So when this happens, we will reduce import protection for our industries. So we won't be able to do import competition or import substitution industry development as easily because our tariffs cannot be unilaterally raised. So that's one problem. The other problem is that import taxes currently raise over 10% of the government's revenue. That will not remain anymore if we lower tariffs, because the government will not get more tariff revenue from these imports. The other thing to realize is that because we are in a lot of tariffs and non-tariff barriers, our import to GDP ratio is quite low. You can see that in 2021 and 22, they went up. That's only because of the high oil prices and energy prices that are important to that. But generally speaking, if we lose our tariffs, our imports will substantially rise. Are we ready for this? The next aspect of this is export. So, as you all know, Bangladesh relies primarily on R&D for its exports. 84% of exports are some form of R&D. And we need to diversify, of course, but we also rely on our NDC status to have market access in the US and EU. We will be using that as well. Manufacturing, of course, plays a central role in our economy, and the regulated government sector is pivotal for. But what happens after we lose the status? What will be returned? What will be exported? So that is a question, and some proactive steps that we could take are to have improved domestic policies to provide international groups. We need to have more digital and physical infrastructure. So we're on the right track with building more physical infrastructure, and we need to improve our digital ones. We need to join more free trade agreements. So we have been thinking about joining the RCEP. We need to do this carefully because we have to negotiate with large trading partners. So we must be careful not to go by their terms, but to be able to negotiate with our own country. We also need to take advantage of supportive measures that are available for graduate LDCs. Roman also mentioned using the finance fund. We need to tap into those as well as the trade for aid monies that are available. We need to be careful about our external debt situation. We need to make sure that we increase FDI. Now, we have infrastructure growth, which is a good thing. But the next point that I will address is labor productivity. That is not good in our country. So increasing FDI is a challenge. We do not have the labor productivity. Also, of course, we should make a good coalition and collaboration with the G20. I hope that our Prime Minister is making quite some progress as we sit here and discuss. So the next thing that we need to worry about is increasing our productivity and the LEC graduation requires adequate performance in what we call the human assets index, which primarily relates to things such as productivity. If we look at our agricultural productivity, it is not so bad. As Rahman mentioned, our agriculture has been technologized quite a bit, and there has been some improvements in productivity of agriculture if you compare to other countries. But the industrial productivity is not good. It is quite abysmal. And in 2019, our government developed a plan which spans from 2021 to 2030. And it was prepared by the Ministry of Industries and the organization in Japan to increase our productivity. What did they identify? They identified nutrition. And they looked at the fact that, for instance, garment workers are malnourished. However, we need to focus on a bit more than that. Health is extremely important. And we only spend 1% of our GDP on public health. We need to improve that. One thing to think about is all of the workers that come from the countryside to work in the towns. They do not have proper public infrastructure to live. They don't have water, potable water. They don't even have bathing water at times. I just did a survey where I found that 50% of the garment workers who were living in Dhaka did not have piped water access. So, and they're in the outskirts of Dhaka, but nonetheless. So these kinds of things have to be improved. If we want the workers to be productive, they have to have, water access, electricity access, sanitation access, be able to afford food. You know that food prices have been rising and after COVID, and workers are facing a lot of difficulty purchasing food and transportation costs also. So these are areas that we need to be careful about because our workers are not healthy enough to be productive. So we need to pay specific attention to that. We also have to target technology, and we see that a lot of export firms and R&D are using better digitalization as well as technology, but the domestic firms are not as much. And there's subcontracting that's done between the export firms and the domestically producing firms. So there needs to be more dissemination of technology, particularly in business, digitalization. I'm sorry, I had a hard time saying the word, but it needs to be done throughout the economy. We also need to have pay particular attention to education. For instance, how are the educational curricula connected to jobs and industry applications? There are many technical schools, but the GLET graduates that we have are not very skilled and they're not employed. What is the problem? The basic education, the primary education, is more of a problem because it starts there and then spills over to higher education. We have already talked about the youth unemployment rate. we still should note that our literacy rate is only 74%. And during COVID, things have taken a bad turn and schools have closed. So the education is, another thing to note is that we have foreign workers who are coming and working in skilled work and taking something like $6 billion each year in remittances from our country. So we need to develop our own skills so we do not rely on these foreign immigrants to do our work. So the education and skills gap in the country is probably one of our most vital problems. Our population density stresses the environment, but if we raise the education and skills level, then that can alleviate the situation by raising incomes and also exporting skilled workers. All of us here are exported skilled workers to some extent or another, but there will be labor shortages in the rest of the world, and we should be prepared to join welcoming states, work there and put that.
Thank you, Dr. Frida Khan. Actually, one thing, she put the stress on productivity. One interesting thing in economics is that if your production is less, you will face inflation because you have less goods, you have more money. If your production goes up, it also raises inflation to Phillips factory power. So if production goes up, inflation will go up. Production goes down, inflation will go down. But only thing we should not increase in inflation is productivity. So that's very vital point to say. And also, she emphasized on India. So now I will invite Dr. Sukhan from the car to deliver his speech, and he will get 7 minutes. Thank you.
For the development of the country, we need two things. Yeah. So energy and infrastructure. Over the last 15 years, Bangladesh achieved something there. So I would like to share some of the mega projects of Bangladesh. It's a very short one. This is the video we produced at the international conference held in Dhaka, Germany. Video first.
Is it on the next slide?
The next slide should be the video. I had it there. Can you go to my slides?
These are the slides that were up there.
What is my slide was here a few minutes back.
Which ones?
Khantkar. Yeah, you were here.
So it's way down there.
Okay,
Yeah,
this one, yeah, let's.
yeah, and that, so if we just go back to the way from the beginning.
Sorry about that. It is always some mechanical problem, and I face that all my life.
So they can see.
Oh, It's not, isn't it up there?
Yeah, but
It's not working?
no, it's just.
Thank you very much. This is a snapshot of all the projects. There's not enough time to show you much more. This was just reproduced, as I said, in January, short one. Now, as you know, the largest project in Bangladesh is the nuclear power plant being built at Rupur. So I will try to give you some idea about that project. There are lots of misconceptions, myth about that project. So I will try to alleviate some of those informations. Again, in here, I worked as a senior vice president of an international company, one of the largest in the world. So the Rupur power plant is, as you know, it's in Ishaddi, Pabna district. This is the site location. It was started in 1962, and finally we are there to do it. The bird's eye view of the entire project, you can see the 2 reactor buildings, those big monstrous cooling towers. But my involvement was on the water, the intake structures, the bank protection, that kind of things I was involved. Now, the question is that, as you know, this power plant is designed and constructed by Rosatom, is an energy arm of Russia. So obviously, the first question comes to your mind that is the technology good enough compared to the Western world?
the Russian technology, what kind of technology we are getting. And that is a concern for everybody, you, me, and everybody. So the reactor, what we are getting from Russia is called VVER 1200. This is, I can tell you, I worked on this field for 30 years. As of today, this is the best technology available in the world. There are only 2 countries makes this kind of reactor. It is called Generation 3+. One is Russia and other is South Korea. South Korean one is called APR 1400 and Russian one is called VVER 1200. 1200 means 1200 megawatt. Now, why it is so good? It is the safety. Safety is the primary. As you know, the first incident was next to this place, 3 Mile Island in 1978. I actually designed their intake for the second unit. The second one is the Chernobyl, you all know. It's now in Ukraine, used to be Russia. Third one was very recent, is the Fukushima in Japan. These are the 3 major accidents. We learned the lessons from those accidents and incorporated the design in this one. We call it 5-layer of safety. Now, first, what are the external forces we designed this reactor for? As you can see in the pictorial, it was designed for a plane crash, the largest plane you can think of, 747. If it crashes into the reactor building, nothing will happen. It was designed for the maximum flood ever you can conceive considering the climate, and it can sustain that flood. It is designed for an earthquake of magnitude 8 Richter scale. Bangladesh or our subcontinent never has this kind of earthquake, but it is designed for that. So the design has incorporated all the possible hurricane. Also, it is designed for. Now I'm going back to the safety. There are, as I said, there are 5 layers of safety. That's why it is called the best reactor in the world. Number 1 is, you can see, is those fuels. All other power plants, even in the United States, they use fuel rod. And that has a potential of overreaction and melting down. In here, we're using pellet. And the pellet has a cladding. So if one pellet is melted down, it will be contained. Then you can see that it has a reactor vessel, that is the heart of the nuclear power plant. Then you can see the 4th layer is the steel liner, very thick steel liner. Then you have a concrete, 1.2 meter of concrete. Then you have a gap of 1.8. Then you have another steel liner. So these are the 5 layers of safety. If there is an accident, it will be contained. What happened in Fukushima, that the radioactive material went below the ground from the bottom. So what we have done it here, we have a core catcher. This is a new concept. Nobody has it. We have installed this one in the event of a accident like Fukushima. Those radioactive material will be contained in this structure, which is at the bottom of the reactor. So as I said, you cannot think of anything better at that current technology. Now, another concept you have heard that, oh, it is costing us too much in Bangladesh. Okay, let's compare. Let's compare apple to apple, not apple to orange as we try to compare with the Indians. Indians doesn't have this kind of power plant. Their largest power plant is 1,000 megawatt, got from Russia, but much inferior quality. So let's see, Bangladesh has a 2-unit costing about $12.65 billion. Per unit cost you 6.3. Belarus, I went alphabetically, they have to cost $24 billion. each is 12. If you go through that, and these are all same type of reactor being built currently. The only project which is estimated to be less than Bangladesh is the Akui project in Turkey, Istanbul. I worked on that project at the beginning. So that was 5.5. So that is a misconception that the cost in Bangladesh is higher than any other country. It is not. I hope I have been able to alleviate some of your concerns on that. Now I will try to see what is my involvement on this project. Back in December of 2017, I joined, I am serving as an advisor to the Bangladesh Atomic Energy Commission. And it is, I'm doing on my own. I took permission from my company so that they allow me to go to Bangladesh or Russia, as you can see, on my own time. So that much I am doing that. I have visited Rupur 5 times, Moscow 1 time. And what we are doing there, the first challenge I had in there is the bank protection. You all know that bank protection in Bangladesh is a nightmare. It is not easy. No, not much country has this kind of river like Padma, like Jamuna, like Ganges. These are the largest rivers in the world and very difficult river. I can spend hours to talk about that. So the conventional design, which is proposed by Bangladesh Water Development Board, as you can see, they're using very large stones. It is not going to happen. It will be more. So the first thing I did, I changed this design, that this is not going to apply. A very innovative design called articulated concrete blocks that was introduced for the first time in Bangladesh. What is that? It is the same concept. We don't have any big stones. So we are using the same concrete block. The difference is that we are using the same concrete block lacing together, making a quilt or mattress, katha. And then we are putting that on the bank. Now the stability of the whole thing has increased substantially. And that Russians has accepted, and that has been installed in Rupur, as you can see. The next challenge was the intake structure. You have to provide the cooling water for those big monster cooling tower. They achieve heat transfer by evaporation. You have to provide that water. So the Russian proposed the intake inside the river. And I didn't like it. I told them that this will have tremendous problem for us, particularly in a river like Bangladesh. I told them also, giving some examples, I worked on the similar intake in Laguna Verde in Mexico and in Ulsan 3 in South Korea and Chinshan 1 in Taiwan. They have exactly the similar problem, sedimentation, debris accumulation. I spent 4 days in Moscow to try to convince them. They overruled my recommendation and built it anyway. I told them these are the problems they are going to have. You will have tremendous sedimentation, but they ignored and built it. Within a year, you can see what happened. There is a formation of island in front of the jetty and the intake. The jetty cannot operate anymore. The sedimentation is very serious in front of the intake. They are continuously dredging. On my recommendation, Bangladesh Atomic Energy Commission reject their design. Rejected, we have not accepted the design. We told them you have to do the model study now and come up with a better solution. And that was the memorandum they signed last year. They have built the model at St. Petersburg. On 10th of October, a group of Bangladeshi is going to go witness the model study. I was invited, but obviously with a blue passport, I cannot go to Russia now. So I was in there this January. As you can see, what happens? What is the condition of the sedimentation? Terrible condition. It has to be solved. The second thing is that, as you know, that the government of Bangladesh, particularly under the leadership of Honorable Prime Minister, we are proceeding with the second nuclear power plant. Originally, she told us that design those power plants on the south side. So we looked into 5 islands and I reviewed those, gave my comments. But lately, when I went to the international conference in Bangladesh this January, 22 countries attended there. So at the end of the conference, Honorable Prime Minister invited me to meet her, to brief her about the conference as well as what is the takeout from this conference. I will not go onto all those details. I will concentrate my presentation only on the nuclear power plant. The first thing she asked that, what is that innovative design you have proposed for the bank protection? I explained to her, this is for period. I was pleasantly surprised when she asked me a question that, did you use filter fabric? I was really shocked that I did not expect from a politician to ask that question. A technical engineer asked me, I will answer. I said, of course, we have to do that. Without that, this innovative design will not survive either. Then we talked about the sedimentation problem in Rupur. She was aware of that. She said that, yeah, I know that. I'm going to purchase a dredger dedicated for the dredging of the sedimentation. Obviously, Russia should improve the design to minimize the mountation. I'm almost there. Then we talked about the third item we talked about the nuclear is the second nuclear power plant. I already told you that we have already looked into 5 islands. Then she told me that I'm having a second thought. First of all, the foundation in an island is going to be very difficult. We are very worried about the cyclone. The above all, most important thing is that all those islands used to be very sparsely populated. Now, in last few years, the population has increased exponentially. Now it is very difficult to rehabilitate those people. So considering all this fact, she told me that I'm thinking of building the second nuclear power plant at the same site as Ripur. I 100% supported her. That is a very excellent idea because it will save us bundle of money. We have the infrastructure done, road done, railway done, jetty done, and the most important is the transmission done. And we have the area, it is a 1,300-acre land. We can easily install those 2 units at the Ripur, and that is what she's planning to do. Once these 2 power plants start producing the electricity, the second nuclear power plant work will start. The last thing I wanted to say, this is that there is a glorious day for Bangladesh, and that day, please put in your calendar. It is October 5th, 2023, just few days from now. That is the day the first reactor will receive the fuel. There will be a big ceremony. All the politicians will be involved, including the Russian politicians. They will. And this is the day Bangladesh has become the 33rd country in the world out of 198, joined the nuclear club for peace. This is the most glorious day for us, and we should be proud of that. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Sufyan Khandekar, for his highly technical and informative speech. Now I would request Dr. Michael Stekler, Professor of Columbia University, to deliver his valuable speech here. Thank you, Professor.
I'd like to thank everyone for inviting me as the one non-Bangladeshi here that's speaking. But I have been going to Bangladesh for over 20 years working in the country. And so over these years, I've seen the growth and development, and got earlier this year to go over the Padma Bridge and get from Khulna to Dhaka in 3 hours, where sometimes the ferry ride alone across the Padma would take longer than that. So I've seen a tremendous amount of development and growth and improvement in the country over that time. What I tend to work on is more of, I'm an earth scientist and studying both the delta and the tectonics, because you have an extremely dynamic country where the land and rivers are moving, and people have been very worried about, sea level rise in Bangladesh. But in fact, a lot of those models treat Bangladesh as a static country and raise sea level, but in fact, it's very dynamic. The land is sinking, but there is also a tremendous amount of sediments coming through the river, such that Bangladesh is actually still growing in its amount of land. Near the river mouth of the Meghna, there are still new islands being created. Unfortunately, it's not even. So we see in the southwest, we see land loss and salinization and a lot of environmental problems. And so it's very, uneven, but, Bangladesh needs to adjust for that. And we've also published a paper recently suggesting that as climate changes and the monsoon becomes stronger, that the rivers may well bring down more sediments and help it to Bangladesh to cope with sea level change, with sea level rise. So that's the good news. Unfortunately, the bad news is whether India and China build dams and river diversions upstream that might cut off the sediment supply. And that would be an environmental disaster for Bangladesh. The same way we see, for instance, in the Mississippi Delta, where there's a tremendous amount of land loss because of upstream damming that has cut the sediment supply in half from its natural supply. But Bangladesh, one of the things I've seen is it's always been a very resilient country. People are often limited in resources, but are very creative in how to use them and improve things. And so for me, it's been great working in Bangladesh and seeing the changes and studying the environment and helping to make whatever assistance I can to help you cope with the changes that are going on, of the movements of the rivers and the land and everything else. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Stekler, for his very much a speech, which is strategically important, because we Bangladeshis born in Bangladesh, somehow we have some kind of feeling which is also attached with some emotion because it's our motherland. But at the same time, he is someone from outside to see Bangladesh and the progress. The important thing is resilience of Bangladesh. So coming out from ashes like the phoenix bird, that's very vital, and appreciate his inspiration to grow up. So now we will play the videotape of Honorable Prime Minister. She is actually the chief guest of this meeting, and she videotape. There is a videotape, so we'll play, and hope you will enjoy this. So I'd request to play. Thank you.
Need to see where it is. Is it okay? Where?
Is it the last one? Can I see the picture over here? Yes.
Fantastic.
Yes.
You need to make duplicate or
I don't know why it's not opening. Alright, let me try something else.
not.
No, I know. It's not opening. I don't know why. It's literally just frozen up. Come on. I don't know why it just froze. Alright, give me 1 second. Give me a second. I'm gonna cancel it out, hopefully, and open it up again.
The last one.
Last one. Maybe this one.
Yes.
There we go.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. The chair. Dear students, distinguished panelists, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum. I welcome you to the knowledge sharing session on Bangladesh economy, opportunities and challenges, organized by Bangladesh Pratidin, the North American edition at the University of Columbia. Columbia University is one of my favorite places in the USA. I was here before and had the opportunity to exchange views with the students. I am sorry that this time I could not attend this program in person due to my preoccupations. Dear students, Bangladesh underwent a huge transformation in its socio-economic front during the last 14.5 years since my party, the Bangladesh Awami League, assumed office in 2009. It is now that a role model for inclusive development. Bangladesh is currently the 35th largest economy in the world, and it will be the 20th by 2037. Significant improvement was poverty reduction from 41.5% in 2006 to 18.7% in 2022. Extreme poverty to 5.6%, and the per capita income increased fivefold to $2,765 during the same period. Before the pandemic, our GDP had been growing by over 6.7% for the last one decade. Even during the pandemic, when most countries witnessed negative growth, our economy grew to 3.45%. Now it is growing over 7% again. The share of the industrial sector in GDP has grown to 37% from 22%, almost doubling agricultural production. Simultaneously, the expected lifespan increased from 59 years in 2006 to 73 years today. Both child mortality and maternal mortality declined faster than its peers. Bangladesh is at the top of attaining gender parity in South Asia. Bangladesh's GDP size is now $465 billion, which was only $60 billion in 2006. Export earnings increased to $60 billion. The unemployment rate has dropped to 3.2%. The literacy rate increased to 75.6%. We have provided land and houses to landless and homeless people at free of cost to more than 840,000 families since 1997. We introduced the first ever universal pension scheme in the country last month. Dear students and academicians, we will hear many more success stories from the panelists, but this transformation did not take place automatically. Our resilient people and the prudent plans and programs undertaken by my government played a catalytic role in these changes. Bangladesh was once a colony of Britain and then a province of Pakistan. After the partition of British India, father of the nation, Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, launched vigorous movement against the misrule of Pakistani rulers. Finally, after a long struggle for 23 years and a 9-month war of independence under his leadership, Bangladesh was born as an independent country in 1971. When father of the nation was rebuilding the war-ravaged country, he, along with most of my family members, was brutally assassinated on August the 15th in 1975 by the defeated forces of the War of Liberation. Following his assassination, Bangladesh went under military and quasi-military rule for the subsequent 21 years, and the fates of the people have not changed much. My party, the Bangladesh Awami League, got elected to office in 1996 after a long struggle of 21 years. In 5 years, we managed to build a solid foundation for Bangladesh's socio-economic transformation. We handed over power through peaceful means in 2001, and then followed another dark period of killings, terrorism, corruption, and military interventions. I had to live a refugee life for 6 years abroad and return home in 1981 to realize the democratic rights of the people. My journey was not smooth, but rather treacherous. I have been interned time and again, and at least 19 attempts were made on my life. The grenade attack on August the 21st in 2004 was gravest one, when 22 of our leaders and workers were killed and over 500 wounded. I have come to politics to realize the dream of my father. What is the dream? The dream is to turn Bangladesh into a happy and prosperous country where everyone will have the opportunity to live a decent life. You'll be happy to know that we have traversed a long way to achieve the goal. We have been qualified to become a developing country by 2026, and we aspire to become a developed, prosperous, and smart Bangladesh by 2041. I'd like to ask the students from Bangladesh to utilize their knowledge, and skills for the welfare of your country. Wherever you stay, you can serve your country if you want to do so. Don't forget your motherland. After all, the motherland is our identity. Thank you all. Khuda Hafiz, Jai Bangla, Jai Bangla.
Distinguished guests, actually, this speech includes everything from politics, history, and inspiration, and speeches. And one thing we have to acknowledge, that her life resembles to the life of the development story of Bangladesh, just growing up from nothing. And she is also a paragon of development in a way that she reverted the trend of Bangladesh. Bangladesh could be a country like Chad, South Sudan, or any country just tormented by military rules one after another. But that trend has been reverted. So that's a lot to add. And development, how she can understand economic stories, that's very fascinating. Now I would request Dr. Ghulam Matbur to give his valuable comments. Professor, Monmouth University. Thank you.
Take it. I'm not going to use anything.
Yeah, but he wants this up.
Okay.
Yeah.
আচ্ছা আমি এবার কথা আচ্ছা ঠিক আছে ওকে গুড
They're doing live.
Okay, sure.
I'll just do this. Where's the fruit? I just need to find
I don't have PowerPoint.
Right, they just requested,
Okay,
they requested just something in the background. It is. Okay, so you're really looking? Yeah, I've turned it. I don't know what's going on. I don't know where it is. I just want to go back to extended. Just to have something.
okay, that's good. That's good. It's okay. Respected Chair, renowned journalist Naim Nijam, eminent keynote speaker, Professor and economist Dr. Atir Rahman of this session, distinguished panelist and moderator, honorable public servants here in presence, those who are NRVs, respected participants of this seminar. Assalamu alaikum, good afternoon, namaskar. Before I begin my remarks, I would like to request everyone to give a big round of applause for all the NRVs that are contributing most to this seminar. So please give a big round of applause, all the non-resident Bangladeshis. My remarks, I'm a social work professor. In fact, my PhD is in social policy analysis. My discipline, social work, originated in this university in 1898. Social work education started at Columbia University. But what my relationship to this topic, this seminar? In fact, I finished my master's at the University of Dhaka. I became a banker. My career started with Greenlands Bank. So I remained in banking sector for 4.5 years. I have a postgraduate diploma in banking. All those, that's what I have. And I have been actually working on political economy throughout my career. I have more than 70 research articles in a very renowned, peer-reviewed, well-referred journals, and few books. So today's my remarks are mainly going to be drawn from two of the articles published, one at the Journal of Economic Cooperation and Development, the Journal of OIC. OIC consists of 57 countries in the world. And two of my co-authors, they are economists. And they're from Shahjalal University of Science and Technology. We looked at the time series data from 1996 to 2020. So the article, if you want to look, Economic Independence of Bangladesh, an empirical assessment. And my second one is a book chapter just published this year, few months ago, Growing Inequality and Problems of Governance, Threats to Democracy and Human Security. So this is what is going to be based on. I'm not going to take a lot of time. And before I go to my formal points, I would like to thank actually Bangladesh Pratidin, the organizer of this event. Particularly, this is very timely. As Bangladesh, no matter what you have listened from the Prime Minister, Bangladesh is a case in point. It is a role model for the developing countries across the world. There's no doubt about it. Thanks to the governments, thanks to the people of government of Bangladesh, transforming Bangladesh today to this stage. So let me start my formal comments. As we know, Bangladesh celebrated 50th anniversary of its independence in 2021. The country has come a long way since its birth, and 2020, as we all know, graduated as a member of the middle income countries category by maintaining a steady economic growth from 6 to 7% over the year. It has been able to hold onto its democratic processes over the years despite the numerous obstacles thrown at it periodically. Much of Bangladesh's economic growth relies on exports from the garment and remittance industries. We know the country, as we heard from our renowned economist and the keynote speaker, is self-independent in food production now and needs to sustain this in order to achieve the desired status of becoming a developed country by 2041. There are some anticipated constraints in my purview. For example, GDP dependence on limited sources like the garment industry and foreign remittances is a potential risk. Total reserves in months of imports and national ownership of domestic expenditure have gone through fluctuation that would be alarming in the case of economic sanctions and desire to self-govern. Therefore, the relative roles of market and the government are pivotal. Due to Russian invasion of Ukraine and global unrest, energy security may fall into question in the near future. Okay. To minimize the challenges, we argue some possible solution in our recent article, the one that I mentioned, economic independence, where it was noted that Bangladesh needs to open the country's economic gates to manage and influence their own advantages of all productive resources, just not to two major sources I mentioned. Dependence largely on trade may cause an economic risk for the country. If the country's bargaining power is weak in the country and is unable to utilize its comparative advantages, the government intervention might necessitate allocating productive resources efficiently, subsidizing agriculture production towards food security, increasing remittances, earning from exporting human capital, and pursuing multinational corporations to ensure maximum gain and increasing ownership in sea resources might all be the priorities for the country. In doing so, the government infrastructure development under the Bay of Bengal Industrial Growth Belt Initiative is a game changer for Bangladesh economic progress. Recently, the Japanese Prime Minister, in his last visit to India, announced that Japan would set up an industrial hub in Bangladesh with supply chains to landlocked northeastern states of India, Nepal, Bhutan, and beyond by developing Matarbari Deep Sea Port in my home district of Cox's Bazar, Bangladesh. However, environmental risk and sustainable use of maritime resources need to be assessed carefully and utilized properly. To the danger of the Bay of Bengal ecosystem are only now beginning to be understood. These dangers include prolonged environmental damage from a combination of deleterious global warming, reduced climate change, and political instability in the region. A serious investment in money and time is required to cultivate a relationship with foreign investors, but Bangladesh issues affecting the business process can be barrier to foreign direct investment FDI. These include inadequate infrastructure, limited financing instrument, bureaucratic delays, lax enforcement of labor laws, and corruption. FDI is needed to stimulate the economy and create jobs. Ensuring all these changes will advance the progress that has already been made for Bangladesh and its people. Thank you so much.
Very nice.
Thank you for being a bit pushy because we have three remarks makers and I would request them for 2 minutes for their remarks. And before we conclude this, but here are some freedom fighters. Let us give a round of applause for them. We feel honored for them. So now I would request the remarks. If it is brief, that would be good. Sorry, we are running out of time because the hall will be closed soon. So I would request State Senator Sheikh Rahman to put his comments. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you. Appreciate 2 minutes, the politician, I don't even get warm up 10 minutes. Let's stand up for a second. I'll make it quick. Let's go. We've been sitting for too long, okay? You can sit down. You feel good? Shake a little bit? Okay. My name is Sheikh Rahman. I'm a Georgia State Senator. This is what I'm doing over here. And I'm not economist, but by the way, I get a degree in economics, but that doesn't mean that I'm economist, and no way I'm specialized in Bangladesh economy. These are the professors, these are the specialists that you heard from. But one thing that I do have something different from my experience, my early age at the University of Georgia, one of my mentor, Professor Martin Hillenbrand, most of you probably haven't heard his name because he started in Foreign Service in 1939. He was positioned in Burma. He was Assistant Secretary of State. He worked with the State Department, and he was ambassador in Germany. And he was specialized in the politics of international economics. That's the subject he used to teach. So I'm a student of that course. So I know a little bit about how the politics works. And he used to teach us how the politics and the government and the economy and the businesses, how tied together, how that works. And he was one of the guys that really was behind the scene working with the IMF and World Bank and all these banks. You see all the financial institutions in the world, he was one of the guys behind the scene working to create those systems. So what I learned from him, anytime I think about Bangladesh economy, I go back to my classes 40 years ago. Bless his heart, he passed away, a long time ago. So anyway, you all heard all the good stuff from what's going on. I'm proud of being Bangladeshi American. I grew up in Bangladesh. In my early age, I'm proud to be listening to Sheikh Mujibur Rahman with the Shate March version, over there. I'm a son of a freedom fighter. My father, Sheikh Mujibur Rahman, was a camp supervisor in Agartala, and briefly I was held by the Pakistani army too because they were trying to get. So when I talk about Bangladesh, I have some experience in Bangladesh during the liberation war and what happened since then. Bangladesh economy has come a long way. I'm really proud of it, but at a high cost. I must agree. They might not say, I'm going to say something. I just want to say something. I'm not here as a Georgia State Senator. I'm not here as a spokesperson for the administration. I'm not here for the Democratic Party. I'm a Bangladeshi American as a person. So what of my comment is nothing to do with the government. So I just want to make sure it's clear, because what's going on in our political, geopolitical system. So I just want to make it clear. But anyway, my 2 minutes is going to be, we're going to go faster than I thought. But the problem, when you talk about the opportunities and the challenges, the opportunities is endless. We have a lot of opportunity. We have young labor forces. We have a lot of young people in this country, and we have to utilize those folks. We have to make sure they're properly educated, not getting just a degree. We have plenty of university, you get a lot of degree, but do they have a skill to do the jobs of the future? That's what you have to look, that's what we have to do. In terms of development, don't come easy, don't come cheap, and don't come fast. If you do fast, you're going to fall. So you got to make sure you take under consideration those you have to balance it out. That's one thing. And corruption, nobody might say that. Corruption is a big problem in Bangladesh too. So we have to cut down the red tapes, and everybody come together. It's not the which political party or what you become. You are politicians or a government employee. You are on research at university. You got to make sure we have to stop. We have to do whatever it takes to cut the red tapes and the culture of the corruption. That's one thing. Definitely the politics, another thing. We have to have a stable government. We have to have a transition. The most important things right now is a political crisis. We have to make sure we overcome. And especially the people in power has the responsibility to make sure the transition is smooth, whatever it is. I don't care who wins, who loses, but I ask the people of Bangladesh, make sure you vote for the people, right people that are going to do good for the country, for yourself, not for themselves. So we have to cast our vote for the right people. That's more important than anything else. And that's the only way you can move forward. Yes, we have come, as I said, I'm proud of, Bangladeshi. Also, I'm proud of all the Bangladeshi all around the world, everywhere I go. The people in the Middle East, they're cleaning janitors, they work in the airport, they're working in the restaurants and, and agriculture field, not only in the Middle East, not even in Italy. You see, we have doctors, engineers all over the world. I was surprised to meet the doctors last year in Slovakia. Who would think there's a Bangladeshi doctor in Slovakia? He really found out I was he wanted to see me. I was in the country, so he really drove 2 hours a couple of hours to see me. So I was glad to see him over there. So we have so much stuff going on. We have Bangladeshi people. One of the speakers said that remittance is is a big thing. So we have to make sure how you continue. Our children are not going to send money just like we do. We have to make sure they love their country as much we did, and we still do. And we have to make sure we keep our children involved, what's going on, take them to the country, whatever, a lot of different things. As I said, I can speak forever over here, so I'm going to try to end as quick as possible in a few seconds, but I'm hopeful for Bangladesh. Bangladesh, we're going to be much better country, but immediately if we cannot solve the political crisis, this is going to be a problem, not only for the country, not only the party or anything like that, for the future next generation of Bangladeshi American, not Bangladeshi American, the people who lives in Bangladesh. This will be a catastrophic disaster. So I hope and pray everybody come together and make sure we move forward. And the political culture has to change. In order to develop the country, in order to move forward, you got to come out and you need to come down and sit down together and negotiate. I come from a Republican state, but I can proud to tell you that more than a dozen of bills I co-sponsored signing to law, even though we don't sit together as opposition party. We got to work together. Doesn't matter what party. Nobody owns the country. People own the country, and people should have the right to cast their vote. And the government has a responsibility to make sure you get it done. And that's what I'm going to say, and that's what I'm going to say. Thank you very much. Thank you for listening to me. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, State Senator Dr. Sheikh Rahman. So one thing we have to make sure now, actually, we plan to have some comments from the floors, and we know distinguished guests, valuable scholars are here. We have to cancel it because of some logistic problem. We have to close the program. We have to leave the hall. So I would request all the representatives, actually, they're successful leaders. They're not leaders from here, they're public leaders, and they were actually elected by them. So I would request them to just say their just 2 sentences to finish. So I would now request State Representative Abul Khan, North Hampshire, just to say 1 or 2 sentences. That would be good wishes. And if we have something more, we can load it in the website. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Honorable Foreign Minister, Honorable Prime Minister. I'd like this opportunity to thank the organizers and Bangladesh Protidin and all the panelists that spoke before me. It is very helpful for our community and policymakers to understand how Bangladesh come to this challenging time. As a Bangladeshi-born American lawmaker, I live in the United States for more than 40 years. I have been connected with Bangladesh and have frequently visited Bangladesh. Seeing where Bangladesh is today, it is truly remarkable from where it has come since I left some 43 years ago. I cannot, it come a long way. It did not happen overnight. Some of the biggest achievement happened in food security, women empowerment, small industry development, growth of entrepreneurship, and new ideas. Also in the past few years, there has been a huge development of infrastructure that has helped growth of the agriculture and food supply. Some of the big projects are near completion or close to completion. I would like to express my strong opinion about today's Bangladesh. Bangladesh is not so-called bottomless basket anymore. We come a long way to overcome thanks to countries' foreign currency earners, entrepreneurs, great visionaries, and many other Bangladeshi citizens who contributed to build today's Bangladesh. There still is a lot of room for improvement in every industry and sector of Bangladesh. I hope in next coming years, government continues this development and progress so we can see even better Bangladesh. Thank you, and thank you very much.
Okay.
Just one correction. Bangladesh was never bottomless basket.
Thank you. I appreciate. Now, actually, I will invite Mr. Mahbul Alam Tayyab. He is the city mayor of Melbourne. So just if 2 sentences, that would be good. Thank you.
Hey, thank you so much. Thank you so much for inviting me in here. But before I come, this is only 2 minutes. Now, less than 2 minutes. Okay, thank you so much for inviting me and Bangladesh Pratinidhi and all the folks in here, all the doctor here. They already explained what it is Bangladesh right now. I'm just saying they're I think they're missing only one side. It's for our human health. So if we competing on the human health and more developing on that side, I know it's a huge challenge, but we can do more than the one person says from the rest, our audience is Bangladesh is not the bottomless anymore. It never was, and right now also in future we see in Bangladesh now is going to the nuclear project. So in future, we will be more and more success in Bangladesh. So I like to thank you very much to invite here. I'm gonna ending right now. Thank you all.
Now I would request Ms. Farida Yasmin. She's the president of Bangladesh National Press Club. And she can speak for 10 minutes? No, just one sentence.
Good afternoon. I am not the designated speaker, so one sentence is good for me. No problem. Thank you so much to all our guests and distinguished speakers for coming to this event to have a timely discussion on the economy of Bangladesh. To be able to have these discussions and highlight the economic development of Bangladesh under the leadership of Honorable Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina, and to transfer knowledge with one another and with people back home is a way to ensure the development continues in a steady pace. Bangladeshis abroad are also a part of this development through their talent and remittance. Thanks again, and have a great day.
That's the best part. Okay. Now, Honorable President, Mr. Noam Nizam, but before that, he wants to honor all the speakers and distinguished guests and speakers, commentators with some guest. I would request Lavlu Ansar to come here. Okay, so that is it.
Yes. একটা একটু দিন টাইম নষ্ট করার সামনে
Dr. Atir Rahman.
প্লিজ
This is honoring contribution and scholarship. Huh? Dr. Nazrul Islam.
Oh, sorry.
আমাকে Dr. Mike Stakler.
খাবারটা খুলে
Dr. Sufyan Khandakar. We are not following any order, so please take it easy. Professor Ghulam Madbar. Mr. Sheikh Rahman. Oh, coincidentally, this me.
ফরিদা খান এটা কি দাও না মাছ খোলো না এটা কাট না, এটা দরকার নেই। ফরিদা ডক্টর ফরিদা সাথে আর ওই যে মাসুদ রহমানটা দেবো।
Dr. Farida Khan. Mr. Abul Khan. আশীর্বাদ আছে তিনি তো আসে নাই
আপনার হাতে সময় আছে 30 সেকেন্ড
আমি তো তাকে ডাকি নাই ডক্টর মাহবুল আলম সাহেব
মাহবুল
ওনাকে ডেকেছি সিটি মেয়র মাহবুল আলম তাইব এদিকে নাই Foreign Minister. Okay, so that
group photographs.
Okay. So there will be a group photograph, and
we have a lunch packet
okay.
when they're going out.
Please, distinguished guest, we have some lunch packet to give you. So please take a little bit time and
thank you all of you joining with us. I am a last speaker, but we don't have time. So because of 1:15 is our closing time, and thank you my friend Virupat Kopal. He started his career from journalism, and after that he big career in all over the world now, including USA, including Bangladesh, and he's a very famous writer also. Thank you very much. Thank you all of you.
এখানে আছে আচ্ছা এই ম্যাডাম এই ম্যাডাম
ঠিক আছে দেখ
কিন্তু অবশ্যই আমার একটা কথা হচ্ছে যে আমাদের যে ডেভেলপমেন্টটা হচ্ছে এগুলো যদি আরো একটু ব্যাপকভাবে বলা যেত সেটা বোধ হয় ভালো হতো। তবে এটা দরকার ছিল খুবই, কারণ আমাদের যে উন্নয়ন হচ্ছে সেই উন্নয়নের যে ধারাটা আমরা আসলে আমরা এখানে যারা থাকি তাদের মাঝে সেটা আসা উচিত, জানা উচিত এবং সেটার ব্যাপারে তাদেরও সচেতনতা এবং একটা ভূমিকাও রাখা উচিত।
থ্যাংক ইউ সো মাচ
তুমি কি এটা টেলিভিশনের জন্য দেখেছ?
How was the conference? Like, what is the takeaway from today? কেমন আছেন? কেমন ছিল আজকে ইয়েটা কনফারেন্স? কেমন লাগলো?
বাংলাদেশের অর্থনীতির উপর যে সেমিনার আজকে বাংলাদেশ প্রতিদিনের উদ্যোগে অনুষ্ঠিত হল, এটাতে মাননীয় প্রধানমন্ত্রী জননেত্রী শেখ হাসিনার নেতৃত্বে বাংলাদেশের অর্থনীতির যে ভবিষ্যৎ, একটি সম্ভাবনাময় ভবিষ্যতের যে স্বপ্ন, সেই স্বপ্ন পূরণের একটি খুব সুন্দর উপস্থাপনা আজকের এই সেমিনারের মধ্য দিয়ে পরিবেশিত হয়েছে।
Michael Steckler. Michael Steckler is here today. Yes. You spoke about this, and how was the overall conference? What is your takeaway from this?
Very good. I'm very happy to participate. The only non-Bangladeshi speaker in the conference because I've really enjoyed my time going to Bangladesh over these years.
সবাই তো ওইখানে এখানে সবাই কারণ সবাই বিয়ে করবে স্বাস্থ্যের প্রচেষ্টা কেমন ছিল? আচ্ছা আচ্ছা
বাংলাদেশের সম্ভাবনা এই কনফারেন্সে এসে আপনার
বাংলাদেশি ইকোনমি আগের থেকে অনেক বেটার। যে যুদ্ধের যে অবস্থা, যে আপনার যখন ইউক্রেন রাশিয়ার যুদ্ধের পর আমাদের দেশে যে ইকোনমিটা কিন্তু এখনো পর্যন্ত ঠিক আছে, গ্রোথ গুলো ঠিক আছে এবং গ্রোথ বিশ্বের থেকে যে একটা জিনিস আমাদের আছে ডলার সংকটটা, ডলার সংকটটা এই জায়গায় মানুষ একটু সমস্যা হচ্ছে। আমরা আশা করি যে এই সম্বন্ধে একটা জিনিস আমরা পেয়ে আমরা এখনো অন্য দেশ থেকে অনেক এগিয়ে আছি। শেখ হাসিনার নেতৃত্বে যে জিনিসটা যে আমাদের ইকোনমিকের যে ধারাটা অব্যাহত আছে, এটা থেকে আমরা আশা করি যে আমাদের এই বাজেটেরও একই অবস্থা। এই বাজেট থেকে ধীরে ধীরে আমাদের সংকটটা কেটে উঠবে।
ধন্যবাদ। আজকে বাংলাদেশ প্রতিদিনের সৌজন্যে বাংলাদেশের অর্থনীতি কতটুকু সম্ভাবনা আছে সেমিনার হলো। তো আমরা উপস্থিত যে অডিয়েন্স আছে আশার আলো আছে সেই বিষয়গুলো উঠে এসেছে।
কোন জায়গায় যাবো? আচ্ছা রাখি এইগুলো।
আজকে
খুবই সুন্দর যে বাংলাদেশ প্রতিদিন এরকম একটা অনুষ্ঠান করছেন, যে ডায়লগ আমাদের, যে আমরা কোথায় যাচ্ছি বাংলাদেশকে নিয়ে আগামী দিনে, এটা আমরা একটা দিক নির্দেশনা পাই। এত বড় বড় প্রফেসররা ছিলেন এখানে, আরো অন্যান্য গুণীরা ছিলেন, ওনাদের সব বক্তব্য মনে করেন যে আমাদের পলিসি মেকার যারা বাংলাদেশে আছেন তারা যদি ফলো করে তাহলে আমাদের দেশের মানুষের অনেক উন্নতি হবে ভবিষ্যতে। আমি এদের আমেরিকান ল মেকার হিসাবে আমি বাংলাদেশের অনেক ভালো চাই। আগামী দিনে বাংলাদেশ অনেক ভালো করবে, এখনো বাংলাদেশ অনেক ভালো করতেছে, আরো ভালো করবে। থ্যাংক ইউ।
স্যার আপনার আজকে
আচ্ছা আচ্ছা, আমি হচ্ছে প্রফেসর ডক্টর গোলাম মাহমুদ, ইউনিভার্সিটি নিউ জার্সি, ডিরেক্টর অফ দ্য ডক্টর সোশ্যাল ওয়ার্ক প্রোগ্রাম in human rights industry. We have been living in the United States for 25 years. And this seminar is very timely and pivotal one. Bangladesh actually has come a long way, as I mentioned during my remarks. Despite all kinds of, all the countries, every country has some limitation. আমি মনে করি বাংলাদেশে এখন হচ্ছে role model for all the developing countries in the world. এবং with leadership and everything, I think Bangladesh is moving forward. Bangladesh যে target ডেভেলপমেন্ট কমেন্ট করেছিল এক সময় is in there, bottomless basket, Bangladesh never been a bottomless basket. এবং আমি মনে করি Bangladesh is now going to achieve, at the step of the developed country by 2021. And Bangladesh is going in the right direction. So despite all this progress we have now, we need to maintain it, we need to sustain it. So I thank Bangladesh for organizing this event and giving me the opportunity to share my remarks on this. Thank you.
একজন ইয়াং স্টাডি ইউনিভার্সিটি করছে এখানে আজকে
So hi, my name is Tamima and I graduated from here. And I think that this seminar was very helpful in the sense where I got a chance to look further into my country and our economics, especially including how far we've come from our origins from 1971 when we were first liberated. I think this was a great seminar in the sense where we got to learn more about our history, about our culture, and about our future potential for the long term. It was an amazing seminar. Thank you. Hi.
আজকে কি সেমিনারটা হলো ইয়াং হিসেবে আপনার সম্পর্কটা
It's always nice to see Bangladesh, especially here in the Western Hemisphere, to speak about its growth. So it's really inspirational to see all the politicians, the economists, and the experts in the field to speak highly of Bangladesh. And we do have more to know, but I'm really excited to see. Thank you.
Sorry, what is that? About this seminar? It was wonderful. It was awesome. It was really nice to get people from Bangladesh here and shipping from the other side of the world. It was great to hear about that. But it's nice to get them important things to discuss. I think the seminar a lot of different things about political improvement, how we all get together. আমরা এই জেনারেশনের ইয়াং একজনকে পেয়ে গেছি যিনি এই সেমিনারটা অ্যাটেন্ড করেছিলেন। তো বাংলাদেশে আজকে বাংলাদেশের আয়োজনে এমন একটা সেমিনার হলো, এই সেমিনারে
সব দিক থেকে অর্থনীতি যদি আমরা ম্যাক্সিমাম সত্যি কিন্তু বাংলাদেশ প্রগতিশীল এবং কিছু মানুষ এগিয়ে যাচ্ছে। আজকে ব্যক্তিগত এখানে ডক্টর জাস্ট আমাদের পাশে জাস্ট উনি হয়তো আমাদের 5 ডিস্টেন্স আছে। একটু আগে ওনার সাথে আমার থেকে 3 মিনিটের মতো কথা হলো। আমি হচ্ছে স্যারকে একটা গুরুত্বপূর্ণ জিনিস অ্যাড্রেস করি যে আমি যেটা দেখতে পেলাম আজকে আমি কনফারেন্সে অ্যাটেন্ড করার জন্য আমি শুধু ওয়াশিংটন থেকে এসেছি। আমি ওয়াশিংটন ইউনিভার্সিটির সাবজেক্ট আর্কিওলজিতে মাস্টার্স কোর্স সায়েন্সে কমপ্লিট করছি। আমি যেটা ক্যাম্পাসে দেখেছি যে প্রচুর ইন্ডিয়ান স্টুডেন্ট রয়েছে, পাকিস্তানি, নেপালের এবং হচ্ছে ইউরোপের বা লাতিনের আফ্রিকা থেকে অনেক স্টুডেন্ট রয়েছে। পৃথিবীর অনেকগুলো দেশে কিন্তু সরকারিভাবে অনেক ফিনান্সিয়াল এড বা লোনস ব্যাংকগুলো দিয়ে থাকে স্টুডেন্টদেরকে। আনফরচুনেটলি অজানা কারণে বাংলাদেশে কিন্তু সেটি নেই। আপনি জানেন সেই বিষয়টি কিন্তু আমি আজকে স্যার উনি কিন্তু বাংলাদেশ ব্যাংকের সাবেক গভর্নর এবং বর্তমানে ওরা ঢাকা ইউনিভার্সিটির এমিরেটাস প্রতিষ্ঠা করেছেন। আমি যখন স্যারকে বললাম যে স্যার এই জিনিসটা কিন্তু আসলে আপনারা যারা নীতি নির্ধারক আছেন বা আপনারা যারা অর্থনীতি নিয়ে কাজ করেন সেই জিনিসটা জননেত্রী বঙ্গবন্ধু মাননীয় প্রধানমন্ত্রী শেখ হাসিনা যিনি কিন্তু একটু আগে তিনি কিন্তু বলেছেন যে স্টুডেন্টদের উদ্দেশ্যে কিন্তু তিনি বলেছেন যে শুভকামনা জানিয়েছেন এবং তারা যেন আমেরিকা দেশকে তুলে না যায় সে ব্যাপারটা কিন্তু তিনি উল্লেখ করেছেন। তো আমি যেটা স্যারকে যখন বলেছি স্যার কিন্তু আমাকে বলেছেন যে মিন্টু ঠিক এই মুহূর্তে সরকার একটি ক্রুশিয়াল সময় পার করছে যদি ঠিক নির্বাচন বাট আগামীবার যদি সরকার আবার ফোন করে অথবা যে সরকারি জনগণের ভোটে আসবে উনি এবং হচ্ছে বাংলাদেশের অর্থনীতি আমাদের এখান থেকে আমরা একটি দাবি বা পত্র বা যেভাবে হোক আমরা এই বিষয়টি আমরা রেজ করবো এবং স্যারও বলেছেন স্যার আমাদের সাথে থাকবেন এবং উনি নিজেও ব্যক্তিগতভাবে এই জিনিসটি মানানোর কথা বলছেন।
সেক্ষেত্রে আমাদের স্টুডেন্টদের অনেক বেড়ে যাবে। আমরা আসলে পিছিয়ে থাকি, আমাদের স্টুডেন্টরা পিছিয়ে থাকে, অনেকেরই অনেক কোয়ালিফিকেশন থাকে, এডুকেশন থাকে, মেধা থাকে, বাট এই যে ফাইন্যান্সিয়াল সাপোর্টের অভাবে অনেক কিছু করতে পারেন না। প্রবাসীরা এর অংশীদার, উন্নয়নে বাংলাদেশ যেভাবে এগিয়ে যাচ্ছে প্রবাসীরা এর প্রতিটা উন্নয়নের অংশীদার। এই কথাই আজকের আলোচনায় আসছে এবং বাংলাদেশ যে আগামীর বাংলাদেশ যে একটি উন্নত বাংলাদেশ সে কথাগুলো উঠে এসেছে। উন্নত বাংলাদেশ হতে যাচ্ছে বাংলাদেশ, এই বিশ্বাস সবার মনে আছে এবং সে এই জন্য সবাইকে একসঙ্গে কাজ করতে হবে, যারা বিদেশে আছে, প্রবাসী যারা দেশে, এবং মাননীয় প্রধানমন্ত্রী শেখ হাসিনা যেভাবে নেতৃত্ব দিয়ে এগিয়ে নিয়ে যাচ্ছে আমি মনে করি সম্মিলিত প্রচেষ্টাই এই বাংলাদেশ সফল হবে, উন্নয়নের বাংলাদেশ যে স্বপ্ন বঙ্গবন্ধু দেখেছিলেন, সোনার বাংলা। ঠিক আছে, অসংখ্য ধন্যবাদ। ওখানে একটা মিছিল তো
আমাদের তো আশা ছিল আমাদের এদিকে ঠিক আছে। আসলে আমরা যেটা আমাদের লক্ষ্য ছিল, আমাদের মেইন স্ট্রিম যারা এখানে বিভিন্ন বিশ্ববিদ্যালয়ের শিক্ষক প্রফেসর তাদের সঙ্গে আমাদের মেইন স্ট্রিম যারা রাজনীতিবিদ এখানে রাজনীতি করলেন বা করছেন তারা কিন্তু বাংলাদেশ সম্পর্কে কতটা জানেন, বাংলাদেশের সম্পর্কে যে ইকোনমিক পরিবর্তন, বাংলাদেশে অনেক পরিবর্তনের ধারা গত কয়েক বছর ধরে। আপনি এখন ঢাকা শহরকে চেনা যায়, ঢাকা শহর বদলে গেল। ঢাকা শহরে এখন উড়ান সড়ক, ঢাকা শহরে এলিভেটেড এক্সপ্রেস ওয়ে, ঢাকা শহরে এখন 3 ফিটের যে বিশাল সড়ক, ঢাকা শহরে এখন মেট্রো রেল চলছে,
এখন পাতাল রেলের যুগে প্রবেশ করেছে বা প্রবেশ করতে যাচ্ছে বাংলাদেশ। তারপরে নদীর টানেল এখন উদ্বোধন হবে অচিরেই। আমাদের বিমানবন্দরগুলো অনেক পরিবর্তন। এই পরিবর্তনের অর্থনৈতিক জিডিপির যে গ্রোথ সার্বিক অর্থে সরকারি বেসরকারি খাতে এই বিষয়বস্তুগুলো ডক্টর আতিউর রহমান তুলে ধরলেন। তারপরে আমাদের এখানকার মেইন স্ট্রিম যারা প্রফেসর বিভিন্ন বিশ্ববিদ্যালয়ে শিক্ষকতা করেন তারা এর উপর যে আলোচনা অংশ নিলেন, তারা বাংলাদেশের অ্যাপ্রিসিয়েট করলেন। তারা বাংলাদেশের এগিয়ে চলা অব্যাহত থাকুক, আমরা সেই প্রত্যাশা করি। কারণ বাংলাদেশ এগিয়ে চলছে, এগিয়ে যাবে। বাংলাদেশ আজকে বিশ্বের উন্নয়নের একটা চমকের জায়গায়, বাংলাদেশ অর্থনৈতিক সমৃদ্ধি একটা চমকের জায়গায়। এই জায়গাটুকু তৈরি হলো এবং আমাদের এই সেমিনার মধ্যে থেকে এখানকার মেইন স্ট্রিম প্রফেসর, মেইন স্ট্রিম রাজনীতিবিদ যারা বাঙালি, তাদের কাছ থেকে আমরা সেটুকু পেলাম। সবচেয়ে বড় ছিল স্তনিক ব্রোকের সবচেয়ে বড় এখানকার এই কলম্বিয়া বিশ্ববিদ্যালয়ের একজন শিক্ষক যিনি সাদা চামড়ার, তিনি বাংলাদেশকে যেভাবে অ্যাপ্রিসিয়েট করলেন, এটা আমাদের একটা বড় ধরনের অর্জন বলে মনে করছি। আগামী দিনে আমাদের মাননীয় প্রধানমন্ত্রীকে ধন্যবাদ জানাচ্ছি, তিনি তার বক্তব্য বাংলাদেশের আমাদের এই অনুষ্ঠানে অংশগ্রহণ করে সরাসরি তার ভার্চুয়ালি অংশগ্রহণটা আমাদের জন্য একটা বড় প্রয়োজন ছিল। তিনি তার বাংলাদেশের বর্তমান অবস্থান তুলে ধরলেন এবং এটাই আমাদের একটা বড় বিষয় ছিল, যেটা আমি মনে করি আমাদের মেইন স্ট্রিমের কাছে জানা দরকার বাংলাদেশের এগিয়ে চলাটা।
অসংখ্য ধন্যবাদ স্যার।
থ্যাংক ইউ। না না, করবে সেটাই বলুন, একটা সিস্টেম দাঁড় করার দরকার। অন্যান্য দেশে কেমন করে হচ্ছে সেটা জানা দরকার। কার্ড দিচ্ছিলেন, কার্ডে তৈরি করতে হবে অন্যান্য দেশে হয়, আমাকে জানিও, তারপরে আমি এখানে তুমি মেইল করে তো।
One for me, please. Thank you, sir. So one for me, please. One for me. My brother and my brother-in-law, it's a sister-in-law who are like working in Bangladesh Bank. They're both are directors.
Oh,
yes. I'm here in the USA for study purpose. I already completed my graduation here. I'm a software engineer.
বাংলাদেশ তো বললাম বাংলাদেশ এত চলে গেছিল, চ্যালেঞ্জ গুলো রয়ে গেছে। প্রবাসীদের আমি শুক্রবার জাতীয় অনেক কষ্ট করে আসলে তাদের যে জীবন, তাদের যে অর্থ, যে প্রক্রিয়া সবকিছু সহজ করে যাতে করে তারা এসে যাবেন, তারা সম্মানটা পাবে, সেই সম্মানটা আমাদের দিতে হবে। এবং আমরা এয়ারপোর্ট হলে প্রথম জায়গা যেখানে ওয়েলকাম করবো তাদের সেই ইমপ্রেশনটা আমাদের তৈরি করতে হবে। এবং আমরা আশা করি যে আগামী দিনে যেহেতু ইনফ্রাস্ট্রাকচার ডেভেলপমেন্ট করছে, থার্ড টার্মিনাল যখন হয়ে যাবে, আমরা এই যে তাদের যে কষ্টটা অনেকটাই দূর করতে পারবো বলে আমার কাছে মনে হয়। কিন্তু সব মিলে বাংলাদেশ এগিয়ে যাচ্ছে এবং এগিয়ে যাবে। এটা আমাদের সাইকোলজিক্যাল একটা বিষয় হতো, জাতি হিসেবে আমাদের কিন্তু অনেক মনের পরিবর্তন দরকার এই জায়গাটাতে। কারণ তারাই আমাদের ভিত্তি, আমাদের এই সাধারণ মানুষের কল্যাণেই তো বাংলাদেশটা গড়ে উঠেছে। সুতরাং তাদের দিকে সুনজর দেওয়াটা খুব জরুরি। এবং আমার মনে হয় যে গণমাধ্যম এখন অনেক সচেতন। আশা করি আপনারা এই বিষয়গুলো আরো তুলে আনবেন এবং আমরা আমাদের সাধ্যমতো আমরা চেষ্টা করি যাতে করে এই জাতীয় বীরদের যেন
উপযুক্ত সম্মান আমরা দিতে পারি, এটা আমাদের চেষ্টা করতে হবে। আগামী দিনে আমার মনে হয় পরিস্থিতি বদলাবে।
তার যে আরেকটা বিষয়, ছোট্ট আরেকটা বিষয় যেটা মানে আমার আমি নিজেও ফেস করেছি, আমাদের দেশের স্টুডেন্টদের জন্য কোনো ব্যবস্থা নেই,
না, আমাদের আসলে এটা নাই, স্টুডেন্ট লোনটা তৈরি করবার জন্য কাঠামোগত সমস্যা আছে। এক নম্বর হলো যে এই যে টাকাগুলো দেবে সেগুলো আবার ফেরত দেওয়ার পথটা কেমন হবে, সেই জায়গাটা
বা খুবই কম, যেটাও হয় ফাইন্যান্সিয়াল হয়তো তার মেধা আছে, এডুকেশন আছে, আছে, স্ট্রাগল আছে, বাট ওই যে ফাইন্যান্সিয়াল জায়গাটা, সেই জায়গাটা ইউনিভার্সিটি গুলোতে তারা
আমার মনে হয় যে এই জায়গাটাতে আমাদের ইউনিভার্সিটি গুলোর একটা উদ্যোগ নেওয়া উচিত। ইউনিভার্সিটি যদি ব্যাংকের সাথে, কেন্দ্রীয় ব্যাংকের সাথে আলাপ করে, আমরা বিষয়টা নিয়ে ভাববো।
অনেক এগিয়ে যায়, ওরা কিন্তু এসে যেই টাকাটা 4 বছর তার কথা, সে কিন্তু পরিশোধ করে দিচ্ছে, সে জব করতেছে, ক্যাম্পাসে জব করছে, গ্র্যাজুয়েট অ্যাসিস্ট্যান্ট হিসেবে।
আমার মনে হয় যে এটা করা খুবই সম্ভব, এটা ইনোভেটিভ একটা প্যাকেজ করতে হবে, একটা পলিসি প্যাকেজ
করতে 30-30 লাখ টাকা বা 40-50 লাখ টাকা দেখা যাচ্ছে এক বছরে।
এই মুহূর্তে আমাদের ফরেন এক্সচেঞ্জের রিজার্ভে একটু সমস্যা হচ্ছে, পরিস্থিতি স্বাভাবিক হবে, আমার মনে হয় যে এই দিকে আমাদের নজর
মানে
দিতে হবে।
তখন দেখা যাবে না আমাদের স্টুডেন্টরা অনেক বেশি আসতেছে, এবং যখনই স্টুডেন্টরা আসবে আমরা কিন্তু ইন্ডিয়া বা আদার্স কান্ট্রির সাথে
আমরা অলরেডি কিন্তু বাংলাদেশ এখন কিছু স্কলারশিপ ভালো ব্যবস্থা করেছে, অনেকে এটা আরো ভবিষ্যতে আরো করতে পারবো আমরা, কিন্তু তার পাশাপাশি এই যে বৃত্তির যে ঋণের ব্যবস্থা, এটা নিয়ে কেন্দ্রীয় ব্যাংক এবং বিশ্ববিদ্যালয় এই 3 পক্ষকে নিয়ে বুঝতে হবে এবং আলাপ করতে হবে, সরকারকে নেতৃত্ব দিতে হবে।
আশা করছি আমরা খুব ভালো কিছু পাবো, সামনে অনেক স্টুডেন্ট আসবে, যত বেশি আসবে তত বেশি আমরা আগাতে পারবো।
একটা স্পেশাল তহবিল করতে হবে।